It's the main event. I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum. And of course, you know him as 17-year NFL veteran, 3-time Super Bowl champion for your Dallas Cowboys. And folks, he's all geared up not only for the Wyndham Championship going on starting today here in Golf Worlds, but because, too, he's remembering back to Orange Slices, having halftime in the end zone of the Hall of Fame game in the old stadium there in Canton, Ohio. Dale Hellestrae, everybody.
Good morning, Stephen.
That's my favorite Hall of Fame story from you.
Don't go to the locker unless you have to use the bathroom.
You just go to the end zone, like Bob Warner football.
90 NFL players in a 50-man high school locker. Kind of crazy.
Now it's all nice and built up, and
they done some nice renovations to it. But I just woke up this morning, smiling on my face, because I wanted to see how on earth Steve was going to spend today with the world that turns as the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yes.
And here we go again.
Well, what do you want to talk about? Real quick, do you want to talk about Mike Hazen saying on 98.7 on his hit, going, "I didn't get the trade deadline. I didn't get it done." Yeah. And then guess what? That's your job.
You need 2 general managers to tango, Steve.
So he said that.
Yeah.
Are we talking about just, oh my God, the young stud and Brat, who did not have a good WBC for Canada and just dominating last night? Are we going to talk about that? Are we going to, Dale, let's just get it out there. Are the Diamondbacks better without Ketel Marte?
See, again, somehow, some way. Somehow, some way. Or is it time to give Torey Lovullo his due and maybe extend him a couple years, Steve?
Well, the Diamondbacks don't feel like doing that. So
No, not yet.
Why should I?
Not yet. But
if he makes the playoffs, folks, he's going to get extended. If he wants to be here, he'll be here.
Right.
Make no bones about it. And if he misses, he'll be gone.
I don't know. I'm just happy that each game has a little importance behind it.
And that's what's funny about it. Like, we talk about the frustrating things, and sometimes I think we're nitpicking, but it's the same thing every time. I watch a lot of baseball. No other team sends me through this roller coaster like the Diamondbacks do.
Oh, yes, they do.
They don't. It's
every baseball team, even the Dodgers do that sometimes. How can we lose a game with all this talent?
Yeah, they just got swept in 2 series.
Yeah.
Just in time to face the Diamondbacks starting tomorrow after 2 sweeps.
And a day off.
It's going to get ugly quickly. Coming up here. No, Diamondbacks are perfect. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're good for them.
Well, and if they win tonight, they'll have, no matter what happens that last series, they'll have the tiebreaker advantage over the Padres.
Yes, which is important because the Padres will stay in this hunt with the Diamondbacks throughout the rest of the season.
So who are the Diamondbacks throwing out tonight, Steve? Which ace stud?
Coldrake.
Oh, okay.
7 innings pitched last night, folks.
He looked like Kurt Schilling.
0 earned runs.
Yeah,
well, Kurt Schilling if he had a weird delivery. That's a weird thing to watch, man. 0 earned runs, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts for the young pitcher.
Yes,
against one of the hottest teams and one of the hottest offenses lately in baseball. Fantastic to watch it, and they had to go Ginkel or they went Clark for an inning, Ginkel for 2/3, and then because you're in a blowout situation. Why not let Sewald throw a couple and let the Padres get a couple home runs in the game? I'm just kidding. Sewald that escaped yesterday with 0s across his board there as well.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting when they took Ginkel out. Looked like there were some words there.
I agree with you.
And
then to put Sewald in on top, this could have gone horribly wrong for Torey.
But even Brooke goes, "What do you think went on there?" And I'm
she noticed it. Well, it gave up 4 earned runs, though.
Well, no, I fully understand. And I'm sure there are certain situations where as a pitcher you go, "No, let me get this last out.
Yeah,
let me get this last out." But there's other ones where, hey, it was whatever, 10-0 or 10-1.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden.
I'll go a step farther. They leave Sewald in there when he's foundering way too long. They've left other pitchers in there way too long. Ginkel, you have and then it turns out being a 10-4 lead. You just need one more out there.
Yeah.
Bases are empty because you just got them cleared. And then it's like, well, you leave everybody else in here to get out of this. Why are you taking me out early? I don't know. I don't know what that was. I did scour the internet. Of course, nobody asked those questions after the game. That would be a hard question. Can't ask that.
Well, especially after a win, but it was
That's
just
tough.
enough to make you go, Ginkle really was arguing to try and stay in after giving up the 3 runs, 4 runs, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And did not look good doing it.
No, that was my issue with it. Was, yeah, could he have gotten one more out? Probably, but it ain't your night, kid. Go sit down.
Oh.
But then to go to Seawald, I was like, ballsy move.
And it worked.
It worked last night. Worked last night as well. Do you want some stats here on the young pitcher that apparently is going to be our ace here next year?
I'd love to.
There are 2 pitchers, the last 2, aged 23 or younger, that have pitched 7+ innings with 1 or fewer hits allowed and had 9+ strikeouts in the game. 2 pitchers, the last 2 to do it. One, I'll give you, Mitch Bratt, last night. Who's the other one?
You're obviously just talking about the Diamondbacks.
No, it's Major League Baseball.
Major League Baseball?
Mm-hmm. No.
Oh,
I mean, think about it. 7 innings pitched, 1 or fewer hits, 9 strikeouts in a game, and under 23, it's limited on who you can pick on this.
Well, didn't he, was the guy who still with the Diamondbacks right now?
Do.
Brandon Webb?
No. He did it in 2024, July 11th, 2024.
And he's not still with the Diamondbacks.
No, never was with the Diamondbacks, this guy. Do. Think young pitchers in the league. Hard-throwing pitchers.
Oh, yeah. Nobody that we know?
Paul Skeens. He's in the category with Paul Skeens.
Okay.
Mitch Bratt. He's up there with Paul Skeens.
Rolls right off the tongue.
When you think Paul Skeens, you think Mitch Bratt. Since pitchers were first tracked in 1988, we get this from OptaStats out there. Mitch Bratt is the only rookie lefty in Major League Baseball to have an outing in which he did all that stuff. Tossed 7+ innings, allowed no more than 1 hit, struck out 9+ batters, threw under 100 pitches as well, which means you were efficient.
Yep.
And then also got the win. Yeah. Only rookie lefty. I like how they have to break it down into lefty-righty type situation. This is monumental territory that Mitch Bratt has been in since he's been up here and pitching. It's been amazing.
Yes.
Now, I will say this. I was on some Padres chat boards and Padres stuff last night. They're like, how can we not hit that kid? He's a soft thrower and all that garbage team. Fire the coaching staff.
Huh.
So it was kind of funny to watch.
Yeah, well, maybe you should go do a talk show in San Diego, too.
I could fit in there fine.
10 to noon.
I could fit in there fine. They were not impressed with Mitch Bratt there in Philadelphia. Well, part of the other side, if you're a Padres fan, right, you just traded for your starting pitcher last night.
Yes.
Dude, he hadn't pitched in 11 days, Dale. And last night was his first start in 11 days. Boy, didn't it show?
Well, whatever it was, again, I just sit here in all the angst with Diamondbacks fans about not getting a pitcher. Well,
even with the general managers upset about not getting in somebody.
Right. And sometimes the best move you make is not make a move.
Make one. Soroko's going to be back in a week. I think he did Reno last night. I think it was last night or tonight he's pitching Reno, and they think he'll be back after he pitches in Reno. Then it just gets his 5-day rest and would be back as well, which, of course, Drake or Bratt will go down. I'm assuming it's going to be Drake, right? But we'll see. You never know with Torrey.
Yeah, well, is it Torrey or is it somebody?
Hazen, yeah. Again, it's just the little things that just get under my skin here with the Diamondbacks. He goes after the trade deadline, and Hazen goes out there and goes, we tried to give up all these guys, and nobody was biting, and we didn't want to give up our major league talent and, stuff like that. And we didn't get it done. Then he goes on 98.7. Oh, I failed in my job. We didn't get it done. That's my job. It's just like, so now the GM's like, I'm going to appease the fan base here and say how bad I am at my job and everything. And it's like, stop doing that stuff, man. Just keep saying we tried, we didn't get it done, but this team is playing well. We're getting Sirocco back, we're getting J Mart back, Justin Martinez back, we're getting Lawler's coming back, we're getting the young kid that they had to put on IL because he got hit with the ball. I just forgot his name. For some reason, Tom Tupa popped in my head. Tommy Troy, thank you. I don't know why I said thank you to myself for thinking of that. And so just stick to that narrative. But he's making it look like he's disappointed in not being able to make a move with the team that's playing well. Like, I give him a hard time because yesterday they were 5-5 in their last 10. It just cracks me up how every digit goes back to a 500 level with this team. It just have some confidence, man. That's all I'm saying, Dale. Have some confidence out there. And then Vargas last night. Newt Bar is out there playing well.
Well, what a name.
I always called him Nut Bar when he was with the Cardinals, so I got to remember now it's Newt Bar. Because I'm like, all right, can't keep making fun of him. Corbin Carroll's catching a little bit of fire right now as well. I'm not going to say he's out of his slump, but he's getting there coming up. Gabby Moreno was back last night after yesterday. I was just asking, like, how long are you going to miss for maternity leave? Which I was perfectly comfortable with McCann, catching for him. But I think Moreno should be a DH more so than not nowadays. On the days he's not catching, just DH him. Best hitter on the team. He's better than any of the DHers you have out there. You're about to get Lord Gurriel back. Hopefully he comes back, a little bit better than when he left and stuff like that. Even Locklear last night got in on the fun. This team's on fire right now, Dale. On fire.
And then tomorrow we'll come in, they'll lose today, split the series, and
fire everybody.
Sink the ships.
Okay. The Marte situation. He wasn't in the lineup. Either was the third baseman, the old guy. Arenado, thank you. Neither one of them were in the lineup. And Torrey went up before the game, and Torrey said, we got to keep these guys fresh for whatever it is, 42, 43 games remaining playoff push.
Right.
And I agree with that. My problem that I have is it's when you rest these guys. Does Marte need a break? Marte has not been playing well. We all know that. Marte has not performed well this year. Is he tired? Probably, stuff like that. Here's my problem. You've got, before this, right, you were playing all these playoff caliber teams. And you're playing the Padres. Last night was a big game. And you're resting him for these games? You can't get him through to the Rockies series? You couldn't have rested him before this series, like when you won a series or something like that? Like, it's just when you're resting him. And I'll tell you this. Yesterday was the club's decision to rest those two guys. And they came out early and said it. They came out early in the day and said it. But a lot of the fan base instantly goes, oh, Marte's not playing again on a big game tonight. Yesterday wasn't Marte's decision. He might have had a say in it. But he's resting a couple veterans, getting them, so they can get their rest and stuff like that. Just do those guys a favor, man. Torrey always talks about how he's protecting guys and all that. You're not protecting Marte by sitting him on the biggest game right now of the Padres last night. You're not doing him any favors. And I kind of made a joke about it. But when Marte's been out this year, this team has looked good. It's something you can't ignore.
Well, again, you can make the argument that, okay, so you don't rest him last night. Well, is tonight's game big?
No. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
This is my point. So get through to the Rockies series. Get to Monday.
So you're talking about 5 more games before you get there.
You could have rested him before this week, too. Why did you decide today?
Ooh.
Why did you decide yesterday? I'm not saying it was the wrong move, Dale. I'm not up in arms about this. My argument is, and I know you don't go off of fan comments and stuff like that, you're not doing Marte a favor by resting him yesterday. Because a lot of the fan base, a lot of the people on the social medias, a lot of the people talking, even 98.7 came out, and they were like, why are we doing it today? Today's a big game. You're not doing Marte any favors by doing it yesterday, is my argument. It ends up being the right move, Dale. Because he ended up having a great game last night. But you got to protect the guy also with the reputation he has.
I don't know. You couple the fact that you want to keep them rested, both him and Arenado, both getting up there in years a little bit.
Absolutely.
Arenado obviously more, but you want to make sure that you keep them rested. And at the end of the day, you said it, and I heard them say it last night on the broadcast. I heard people talking about it. He's struggling at the plate.
Yeah, I would argue give him more days off. My argument is though, don't do it on your biggest game days. That's my argument.
Well, they're all big through the weekend.
Yeah, that is true. That is true there. But no, he's been it was the right thing to rest him. That's why I'm not up in arms about this. I wasn't up in arms about it. People reached out to me and they were up in arms about it, pitchforks and everything. And I'm like, a guy needs a day off. He's been struggling. I'm not opposed to Marte missing some games because you have better talent in there, folks. You saw it last night. I made a joke that this team might be better without Marte. That might be the case. You want Marte out there because he's one of the best second basemen, even when he's scuffling, right? But give the guy some rest. Vargas can easily fill in. He had 4 RBIs last night at second base.
Yes.
You have a guy that can fill in. If Marte's not healthy and scuffling, sit him down. Absolutely. Sit him down more often than not over the next 42 games. For the sake of Marte is what I'm getting at here. You got to pick and choose what games you're doing it on. Because when it's a perceived big game, it looks like in all those cognizations of Marte slacking and not wanting to play in the big games come up. So protect the guy is all I'm saying, Dale.
I'm looking at Vargas. He's got a better batting average. He's seen the ball better. He looks more comfortable at the plate right now than your perennial all-star.
He looked absolutely comfortable last night at the plate. Did that ball come down yet? I think it's still hovering around the restaurant out there. What was that restaurant over there? Ruby Tuesdays or Fat Tuesdays or Cold Beer and Cheeseburgers, whatever it is. I'm just gonna name every restaurant on the planet till somebody tells me I got it.
Don't bring up restaurants that are closing. Salad and Go closed.
Dude, the outrage on the Salad and Go thing cracks me up.
It is.
Cracks me up. Then the further outrage that Dutch Brothers is buying the locations, certain locations of Salad and Go.
Yeah.
The uproar that we're gonna out by my house, Dale. We literally have an Angie's and a Salad and Go in the same parking lot, and then across the street at Dutch Bros. Somebody actually posted on one of the Facebook neighborhood pages when it was announced Dutch Bro was buying the stores. Just what we need, another Dutch Bros across from a Dutch Bros out here in this neighborhood. We should get some other sort of restaurant. And I'm just like, the outrage right now going on.
What is Angie's? Because I've heard about that.
I've told you about Angie's before. When they first started, it was Angie's Lobster, so their lobster rolls are to die for, Dale. To die. Go get a warm lobster roll. I don't know what the price is now, but for a while there, they were $10, but they're not that much more expensive. Just get a warm lobster roll with a lemonade. Just get that.
Yeah.
Thank me later. Thank me later. With the regular butter, I prefer the regular butter, but thank me later. But they've been doing salads a lot lately. They've moved into hamburgers and some other prime ribs, another thing they're doing. So they're spending, but they started Salad and Go. That family started Salad and Go.
Oh, that's right.
Sold it off. So similar concept and stuff like that, So, so I've favored Angie's over the years, and I've given up on Salad and Go a couple years ago because it just started going downhill quality-wise. So I favor Angie's more now. So I'm not crushed by this. I'll just say this. If y'all supported Salad and Go like y'all did yesterday, it would still be in business.
I was reading online where people were like, why can't you just charge $1 more per salad? Or why not just do this? Or why not do that?
Because it's private equity, folks. Yeah. They got their money out of it. They got their money out of it. They put enough debt into it. And for them, they've made enough money off of it that they can just close it and move on with their lives. And they don't give a crap. Because all they care about is the almighty dollar.
Yeah.
Private equity ruins everything, folks, including the quality of them as well. So, but I just cracked me up, the outrage of this. And I'm like, there's no outrage about this. I used to go there all the time for the radio station, a couple times a week. $10 salad, and it's a giant salad. Yeah. It was ridiculous. I couldn't eat it all. It's ridiculous. I have to eat it like throughout the whole show and everything like that and whatnot. But yeah, it's hilarious. So the outrage was Salad and Go. No outrage on the Diamondbacks today? I don't think. anywhere. Good,
Not
good
even
effort.
you could manufacture any.
No, this team, you can nitpick stuff, but this team right now is just on fire. But it's not lost on me that if Marte needs rest, give him more rest. My issue is when you rest him on the big games, he's got a reputation of slacking off on big games, and there's a certain part of your fan base that's going to turn on him. You got to protect him on that side. But I have no problem with Vargas starting for Marte. I have zero problem with it this year. Zero.
Boy, Mitch Bratt in his picture on the Diamondbacks, he looks like he's about 16 years old.
For the World Baseball Classic, I think he played the United States, if I'm right. He only got one out in an inning and got bombed. Now he's out there 7 innings against that Padres lineup last night. No earned runs. Yeah, it's fun to watch. Now let's see Cole Drake. The pressure's on you, buddy, tonight. 6:40 p.m., Drake on the mound tonight as well. Look, you can win this series. It is in your hands to win this series, and it will go a long way. So no matter if you win this series against the Padres, no matter what happens against the Dodgers, in terms of the playoff picture, you're sitting pretty.
Well,
if you win this series.
And that
tonight.
other thing that we talked about, again, whether it comes into play or not, I don't know. But a lot of people talk about like it's important. No matter what happens the last 3 games, Diamondbacks are the tiebreaker.
Well, against the Padres.
Yeah.
Which you need because the Padres will be in this. Throw up the NL wildcard standings for me here. Folks, back into the second spot. Tied with the Philadelphia Phillies. They lost last night. So Diamondbacks, look, but like I said, Padres, 2 games back. So even if you lose tonight against the Padres, you'll be 1 game up on them into that wild card going into this Dodger series.
Right.
And it's going to be, win or lose tonight, I mean, you're in this thing. Look at everybody else fading. Marlins, Cardinals, Pirates, Reds, all fading. This is prime for you. Now, you got 3 teams battling for the 2 final wild card spots, probably for the next 42, 43 games, whatever's left in the season. We're in a playoff battle here. And you're getting Soroka back, Lawler back, Gurriel back, Tommy Troy back. J Mart's coming back. That's not it. Don't tell me you're not looking forward to getting that arm in the bullpen again.
Right.
Yeah, that's about to get exciting. Diamondbacks are about to get exciting, folks.
Well, I do remember us talking when the season was starting. If they just hang around till a little bit after the All-Star break.
Corbin Burns in September could be coming back. I mean, just think about their adding coming up here as well, folks. This is going to be fun. Zach Gallen, 60-dayer. We don't have to worry about that one. We're good to go. Really quick, Dale, because you take off early on Thursdays here. Dylan was extended for your Suns
Very quietly, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't hear a whole lot about any, even negotiating.
Because it's weird because he wasn't holding out or threatening anything.
Right.
Like you normally hear. 3 years, $73 million contract. He's with the Suns, or has the Suns' rights, I should say, through 29-30 year as well for him. Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. He's the culture changer. He's the catalyst of the culture change that the Suns did last year.
Right.
He was at the forefront of it. You can add other guys into that list as well as the season went on. But early last season, he set that early tone of toughness that the Suns were missing for a couple years there. I think it's fantastic. And it doesn't break the bank. I mean, it's what a guy like him should get. So they didn't have to overpay for him on top of it, which I think is even better. Yeah.
Right. And obviously a very important part. And I think he just turned 30.
I believe so. He's either just turned 30 or he's about to turn 30.
Right.
I don't know when his birthday
So
is.
you'll have him for 30, 31, 32 for sure. And then you can decide after that.
Yeah, for the years there as well, right? Because a guy like him, it's going to fall off at some point. Just when is it going to do it as well? But the thing I like about this signing more than anything, they didn't shy away from the tone setting that he did. And he brought toughness to the Suns team that they were lacking. And that is huge for them to do this. Which tells me the brass here of the Suns, from the GM on up, I think they learned something that we need toughness on this team. Look what the Mercury had. Kelsey Plum, I didn't watch the whole game, but you can tell when a 5-time All-Star is on that Mercury court now. Jeez, it's different. Dale, it's different.
Yeah.
But she also brings a winning tone to the Mercury. You can see it out there. The other players are playing different and kind of playing more. I don't want to say they were slacking before. I'm not saying that. I'm saying certain players change tones. Kelsey Plum has done that with the Mercury, I believe. And Dylan Brooks did that for the Suns. And they're like, let's keep these guys here. And that's what's exciting. Because it's easy to look at Dylan Brooks and go, too many technicals, too many this, too many that. You cause too many problems. We don't want that on this team. And they embraced it moving forward. So that's fun as well. Dale, before you take off here, we have another big running back signing in the NFL. I'll tell you about that after the break. The Niners injuries, folks, Dale, they're concerning at this point.
Yeah, like 40% of their rosters.
Yeah, 20 players were out yesterday due to injuries on their roster. And we're not talking about guys that are about to get cut.
Right.
20 guys that are making this team and performing are out. We're a week into 49ers training camp, folks. They were one of the most injured teams last year. At some point, this dam has to break, right? Even their head coach. Those power lines caused the head coach to get into an accident and be seriously hurt. But besides that talk there, Dale, folks, right now we have football back tonight. Your Arizona Cardinals are playing the Carolina Panthers tonight. Carson Beck gets the start here for the Arizona Cardinals. No Jeremiah Love tonight. Pretty much no other starters out there playing tonight. But he brought it today, folks. This is why we have Dale on the program. An in-depth breakdown of the Hall of Fame game tonight by Dale Hellestrae.
Well, as usual, first preseason game. I'm going to watch it for entertainment value. I'm not going to sit there and watch the end zone copy and all that.
The all 11.
But I just want to see a crisp, sharp effort, especially in the first half there when you got them. Hopefully your quarterback of the future for them, what they're hoping for. Just looking crisp, getting out of the huddle, no delay game penalties, lining up correctly, all those things. And if you see a couple flashes from Carson Beck, that would be nice. No stupid things.
Yeah. You're going to see timing problems tonight.
You usually
might
do.
see a bad interception or two where they're not on the same page. A receiver, third, fourth, fifth string receiver goes right and he's supposed to go left. You will see that tonight. Yeah.
And I did hear something on 987 driving in this morning. Little trivia for you, Stephen.
Ooh.
There's one thing that
where they steal their trivia from.
They didn't even give anybody any credit. Who's the guy who's starting tonight?
Carson Beck.
Okay. Carson Beck has the chance to be the first quarterback in the modern era that they know of that will throw the last pass of the previous college football season and the first pass of the new season.
Of the 2027 NFL season.
Yeah. His last pass at Miami was an interception.
Yep. That was the end of the game.
Let's hope that's not the case tonight.
Well, is that the trivia? He's the first one in the modern era.
Yeah.
Which goes back to like the 40s or something.
Right.
Really?
The last pass of the previous season in college.
That's it. Well, that's it. Well, mostly this is the only standalone game, which is true because most bad teams don't play in the Hall of Fame game because you're playing this game because you have somebody going into the Hall of Fame.
Right.
And you're usually not terrible when that happens. Good job, Cardinals, being the team to be that way going into it tonight. I agree with you. I'll have it on, of course, starts at 5 p.m. NBC tonight. I agree with you. You're going to get absolutely nothing out of it other than if the Cardinals and this backup crew that's playing tonight goes out there, especially when Carson Beck's in there, and they look like they've never played football before, worry like crazy.
Well,
there's got to be remnants of success and positive things. There'll be mistakes and stuff like that. But if they go out there and look like they've never played football before, oh, my God, worry like crazy.
Well, and I'll tell you the other thing, even though it's so funny how over my 17 years, the fact that I can still remember my first preseason game my rookie year, and you're trying to make the team as a rookie. I didn't know that they always keep, 99% of the time they keep fourth rounders around, and that they had high hopes for.
You have to be really bad, like not showing up and stuff like that to not make it.
Of course, I didn't know getting ready for that game that our coach had told Joe DeLon-Malure, oh, that guy's going to be in the league for double-digit years. I didn't know that. You're nervous. You want to make good first impression. Well, the toughest thing for me early in my career is you'd see all these older guys not even dressed out. Because back then, they just put their jerseys on, no helmets, no shoulder pads, and yet you're playing a full-fledged football game. And it feels like you're fighting for your life. Yeah. So I always have a special place in my heart for the guys who are playing in the game tonight.
You do. You make fun of me all the time.
All you guys could care less because it's just somebody's dreams.
I'm rooting for. Well, they're living their dreams now. They made the NFL. They'll be able to talk about it.
No, they haven't made it yet, Steve.
Well, but they made it farther than anybody else makes it. They're playing in the Hall of Fame game tonight.
They're all vying to be the last guy.
The thing I like about it and what I don't like about the NFL saying, like, if preseason's going to go ahead, what I like about it is I love the story of the guy that going into camp has zero chance to make it, and he fights his way, and he's a special teamer, or at least a practice squad guy, and you notice him throughout camp and stuff like that. I love that storyline. It's very few and far between. It doesn't happen all the time. I love that storyline.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But no, I mean, for everybody playing tonight, especially if you're playing in the second half tonight, they know their fate. What I want to see from those guys, who's stepping up, who's playing hard, who's like, I'm not scheduled to make this team, but I'm gonna make sure they notice me out there. That's the fun thing to watch out there, as opposed to the guys going, I'm not gonna be here in 2 weeks. I'm not gonna hit this guy hard. No, you want to see the guys trying, even though they know in the back of their mind and they were told going into this, you ain't making this. Go do it this way. Who does that? When the odds are against you, who goes out there and still does their job?
Well, and therein lies the rub. You're always told also that, remember, that there'll be cuts and people getting released from other teams. Yeah. You're also auditioning for 31 other teams.
Everybody's watching the film out there. I mean, look, practice squad is not a bad gig in the NFL.
Not anymore.
Go for that type of a deal. Really quick before you take off, we mentioned yesterday if there's anybody on the Rattlers, I want to make this clear with you, that would be like first or second team. Interesting enough, Devontae Merriweather. Yeah. I didn't think he would be eligible or be qualified because he didn't join this team till like 8 games into the season.
This isn't the NBA, Steve.
Second IFL, all IFL second team is how they phrase it in the IFL. Made that team. I just excused him because I was like, he missed half the season.
Right.
And he still makes his second.
But he had that big of an impact.
Well, he's that good of a player as well. Veteran guy in the IFL. So he was the one that did get that second. Nobody on the first side,
right?
But he did get the second one there as well. So like I said, I have to give him credit because one, he's a great player to watch. But I kind of poo-pooed anybody else getting those awards. And hey, if you do it half a season, good for you, man.
Right.
Shows you your standard there as well. So Dale, set the stage for you on the Hall of Fame game tonight, 5 p.m. What to look for. I also love this game a lot because they bring each person being enshrined that's alive into the booth, and they talk to them for a lengthy time about their career and stories like that. And I enjoy those stories a lot.
Right.
And stuff during the game. So that's the other reason I watch. I'll have it on tonight and be watching as well. That's the thing I watch first. Football part second. Now that the Cardinals I'll be paying attention to Carson Beck tonight. No doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, if this was, Atlanta, Tennessee. Yeah,
I would just be listening to the interviews. And
I don't even know if
I'd be doing other stuff while the interviews are on, is what I'd be doing. Then I'd just be listening to it type of a thing. But it's going to be fun to go.
Yeah.
I want to see Chase Pickett. I'm not Chase Pickett. Kenny Pickett. Yeah, I don't know. I'm joking, folks. He's terrible.
You don't think
Bryce Young?
No, never mind.
No,
I was thinking Pickett. I thought he was still with Pittsburgh, but
that's my joke here.
Yeah,
he was terrible with Pittsburgh. Why is he still in the league? He's playing for Carolina today.
Those backup quarterbacks.
What a gig, man! The biggest fear for a backup quarterback is actually getting into the game.
Yes,
because you get exposed, and then all of a sudden as long as they think you're good, you have a job forever. But once you go in there, like Dan Orlovsky, he was a backup for years, and nobody cared. He goes in that game and steps out the back of the end zone while he's rolling out. doesn't have a job anymore. He can't get hired as a football backup anymore.
It happened to a guy that I'm still really close to, a guy named Babe Laufenberg. He does the radio for the Cowboys, was a backup quarterback, or 89 and 90, and they were perfectly happy with him backing up Troy until he had to come in at the end of the 90 season, and he went 0-2 and didn't look good doing it.
Yeah, and he could probably had another 10-year career if he didn't have to play in those two games.
No doubt about it.
So that's the other thing to watch tonight as well for that stuff. But there we go, folks. Things with Dale here on this Thursday. Go have fun over there with the Holmberg guys talking about whatever nonsense they're yakking about today. Like making fun of you. How many CTE jokes are going to happen?
Well, I just turned the tides on to you. Well, what about Steve?
Yeah, well, then Holmberg goes, well, my best friend. We hang out. I texted him last Friday.
Yeah.
I'm not a guy that does that type of stuff. I texted him last Friday. I said, hey, how you doing, man? What are you doing? I didn't. I had to ask him a question. Are you, out of curiosity, since you're in here right now, and I'm not going to be able to talk to you, you guys doing your other stuff today?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Brooke's doing good? We didn't talk about that.
Got Brooke out of the hospital yesterday.
Oh, she got out?
She's out. Doing pretty good. Still a little sluggish and all that, but for the most part, she's doing much, much better.
Yeah, we just outplay the music there. But no, I meant to ask about Brooke at the beginning of the show. So Brooke, I'm sorry. I'll make it up to you.
I'll make sure that she knows you didn't even ask.
Well, at the end of the segment. They'll get out of here. See you later on today.
Enjoy
We're talking about the Holmberg Sports Show. They were going to record that today for the week over here. So they'll be back over here later on. Everybody else, come on back. I'll get you going until Lou comes in, top of the hour. Main event. We're back here. Main event. Dale takes off on Thursdays, heads over to KUPD for the Holmberg Morning Sickness. Does a hit there coming up, I believe, 9 o'clock-ish for him. Then he does that hit over there. They're right around the corner from us here where our studio is as well and everything. So then I got you here until the top of the hour when Uncle Lou comes in here on Thursdays. Of course, UFC talk, NFL talk as he's into his NFL numbers, Hall of Fame game tonight. We'll see if Lou has any nuggets for us on the NFL side here. I know he likes to wait until training camp gets into it. He's talked about that a lot. But we'll see if he's looking at anything or anything to that effect. Other NFL news out there, as I'll get you going until Lou gets in here. Another running back, right? Bijan Robinson signed that big deal a couple days ago with the Atlanta Falcons. Well, Jonathan Taylor inked an extension with the Colts overnight. A 2-year, $44 million extension. It is worth up to $47 million. $39 million guaranteed for him. So not the record-breaking levels here for him, right? Bijan's average is $25 million a year. This one, obviously, less than that. 2-year, $44 million there. But another running back still getting a big paycheck as well coming into this season. And look, now's the time to get the deals done with these guys sitting outside. I saw Vita Valle there, the Tampa Bay Bucks defensive lineman. Yesterday, right? It's negotiation. I get that, but he said yesterday, I don't see any way this can be resolved, except for a trade going forward. So they're still battling it out between him and the Panthers. I'm sorry, the Bucks, of course. Baker Mayfield, gave him till training camp started, and then they're going to stop negotiating. He's going to play on his last contract as well. So there you go, folks. A little bit big signings here happening in Major League Baseball. The other thing is, I mentioned it earlier, the Niners. Yesterday at Niners camp, 20 players sidelined with injuries at yesterday's practice. And we're not talking guys that, aren't going to make the team, guys that are fringe players to make special teams, anything like that stuff. No, 20% of the roster is done. Folks, they're a week into training camp. And I made the joke, even Shanahan, those power lines and Shanahan's crash, etc. But last year during the season, they had the most injuries, right? So did the Cardinals, had a ton of injuries. The Niners kept winning with those injuries. Cardinals did, and we talked about that a lot last year. And then you're rolling into this season with injuries in training camp. Like the Ayuk situation, they had to deal with that last year. To me, that's not a distraction. To me, that's kind of finalized. He ain't going back to the Niners. They have to release him to go someplace, or he's got to come back. And then that becomes a distraction again. And he's not going to do that for some reason. But to go through 2 seasons of huge injuries is, I think, one season of it was almost impossible, and they were able to overcome it. Can you do it in 2 seasons? If you're this injured, 20 players sidelined with injuries in yesterday's practice for the Niners, how do you get healthier throughout the season if guys are playing and stuff like that? You're going to add on to those injuries, and then who's going to be able to come back and not be at 100% to start the season to where they're playing injured? This is something to watch with the Niners. I'm not saying they're not going to be good. Don't get me wrong there. But I'm almost of the thought. Now, we'll see closer to the start of the season here. Who's back, who's actually healthy, etc., right? Some of it's just guys sitting out because, like Ricky Pearsall, right? Comes into camp. They decide not to do surgery last year with his knee injury. No surgery. Comes into camp, swells up on him, needs surgery again, season ender. You have to go back and get Debo again from Washington now and come back to the Niners. I just don't know if they're in Super Bowl contention or winning the NFC West if they have another injury-plagued year like they had last year. It's going to be difficult. It's difficult last year. I don't know if you can put them in that category. And I guess I also would argue you don't want to be the person that sleeps on the Niners either. They will survive. They will surprise you like they did last year with all their injuries and all of that stuff as well. So, but just staggering injuries. I mean, some teams are dealing with players being out for the season for ACL tears, and like the Falcons had one yesterday. Panthers, their young linebacker, first day of camp there, out for the season with him. So these injuries happen out there, but it's a couple players here or there. And with the Niners, it's like the whole team. I know we joke around with Conspiracy Steve and things like that. I am not a conspiracy theorist in all actuality. To be honest, I kind of joke around about conspiracies and those types of things. But I think it's time to move away from those power lines. Even if it has nothing to do with the 49ers injuries for practices. Even if it has nothing to do with it. Just for mentality's sake, get away from those power lines, folks. Just do it. You need to, because there's something crazy happening out there, and it's not good. It's not helping your team at all for your 49ers as well. So, Hall of Fame game tonight, 5 p.m. NBC, as we've told you already. I asked Dale to break it down, kind of like in a joke. He handled it well, But, yeah. how the backup offensive linemen look tonight, right? Are they blocking? Are they opening windows for the running game? Are they pass protecting Carson Beck in this game and eventually Slovis in this game when he gets in there? Is there fluidity, like he said? Are you getting in and out of the huddles? No stupid penalties, right? Like you'll get a holding penalty. Guys are going to make mistakes tonight, folks. Timing is going to be a little bit off with the between the quarterback and some of these receivers throughout tonight, stuff to that effect. It's going to happen. But overall, are we seeing positivity? Because like I said, this is kind of like summer league for tonight's game. I talk about in the NBA. You want to see positivity and you want to see mostly good things tonight. If they go out there and they look like they've never played football before and they don't know what they're doing, that's where you got to worry. Because what have you been doing at training camp? But if they go out there, they have success, they're moving the ball around, they look good at times, everything's kind of fluid, not a lot of issues, not a lot of mistakes, major mistakes. All right, they're moving in the right direction. Feel good about that going into the season is kind of what I'm looking forward to as well. Let's get to the comments here on YouTube. Don't forget, live on YouTube, TME Media AZ is where you can find us. Uncle Lou's coming up at the top of the hour. Join the YouTube chat during the show. If you catch us on demand later in the day, YouTube and over on Rumble, don't forget, rumble.com/user/TME Media. All of our programming's over there for those of you that don't like YouTube. Rumble, including the Real Matrix, is over there as well. Of course, we have the free podcast system. Apple, Spotify, Google. Just search the show name you want to see. All of our shows have podcasts, except for McCollum on Business. So just search the show name. This one, The Main Event with Steven, The Main Event with Dale. It pops right up for you there as well. Join the YouTube chat. Text us on the text line, 623-252-6670. And I'll give you the update. No Tory's got to go. No text. Since last Friday, Thursday or Friday, I don't know the date. Last Thursday or Friday, none of those chats here coming through to the text line. So I don't know if we scared him off by we're always talking about it, or if he's resigned himself to the fact Tory makes the playoffs, he's getting a contract extension coming up. But 623-252-6670, of course, at TME Sports Show on X as well. And Robert says Ginkle did his best Thompson-Seawald imitation with his 4 runs he gave up last night for Ginkle. Yeah. Robert, and I agree with Robert on this. Tory and his team, Dale talked about it earlier. Ginkle kind of had some talk back there, right? Some comments to Tory when he came out to take him out of that game after giving up 4 runs. I take that as healthy conversation. I don't think it's bad. I don't think any of that stuff. I think it's part of it. I want to see a pitcher, even if they're pitching bad, I want to see a pitcher not just shrug his shoulders, hand the ball to the coach, and walk off. Show some fight. I know I've given up 4 runs, but there's only 1 more out. Give me a shot. Argue. Just give a little bit of a conversation back and be like, I got this, coach. Give me 1 more shot. It's 10-4. I can do this. 1 more out. Show a little bit of fight out there. You're still going to get taken out, but show a little bit of fight. Tory squashes that a little bit on this team. I agree with Robert. He just said, did love seeing Ginkle fire back at Tory. Yeah. I don't care how bad you pitch and how bad it is. You can give up the 10 runs. Your manager comes out to take you out. My opinion, you hand him the ball and you go, give me another shot. I can give you another shot here. I know I can get this guy out. Just say it and believe it. Instead of just handing him the ball and slumping your shoulders and staring at the ground when you walk off. Show a little bit of fight. I like that a lot as well. Ann said, because I didn't listen to the broadcast last night. It was on. I was watching the game, but I didn't have the broadcast on. Ann says Berthume said on the broadcast last night, it was Padres A team versus Diamondbacks B team. Again. Not having Marte out there. Now, the pitcher I agree with. You went from a highly touted pitcher that the Padres just picked up at the trade deadline that's supposed to help him, and he looked bad last night after 11 days rest, and last night was his first start. He did not look good. But other than that, who was out? Who was out for the Diamondbacks to where it was the B team? Vargas coming in for Marte doesn't make them the B team. I didn't hear that at all, and I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree with that at all last night. Yeah, the pitching's a big drop off. On paper, Diamondbacks pitching was a complete mismatch to the Padres pitcher out there. Absolutely. But you can't tell me Vargas being in for Marte is that big of a drop off. You just can't. Robert says Soroka might get Sunday. Jack said they may push Erod back a day. And I think they're going to do that. I did not see that from Jack Summers. That's why on Sunday, the Padres pitchers TBA as of yesterday. I didn't look today. And I kind of think Soroka pitched. It was last night, by the way. I looked it up. He did pitch Reno last night. And they said one Reno start, one minor league start, and then boom, back up here. Do the math. Since we're terrible at math here, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday would be 5 days there. But a limited outing last night. Kind of like a warm-up. I do think maybe you're going to see Soroka on Sunday against the Dodgers. Give the Dodgers a little bit of a wrinkle. I also will say I think it depends on how the first two games of the series go as well. And I do question, and this isn't a knock on Erod, do not take it this way. Erod struggled in his last outing. Does he need a little bit more rest? An extra day might help him out, right, at this time of the season as well coming up. Robert says Corbin's glare back at the pitcher after he got picked down was the highlight for me. Yeah, Corbin's got that little that pep in his step back again out there. Starting to see his confidence get a little bit better as he's hitting better and stuff like that So, and then Robert about Ketel Marte's rest out there. He says the rest thing should be more planned out. Sitting so many guys on the same day seems like something came up. I agree with that. That's my argument. I'm not opposed to giving Marte rest and having Vargas play. Arenado needs rest. Absolutely. He's an old guy out there playing third base and he's had a heck of a season. Absolutely. They need rest. Plan it out, man. Like, get Marte back in the lineup today. Have him play through Sunday with the Dodgers because it's a big series. Give him Monday off against the Rockies. Give him Tuesday off against the Rockies. As I choke here thinking about it. It's just you're not doing Marte any favors specifically with giving him a big game day off. It's not helping his. Now, sometimes, right, he tried to push through 5 more days and he just needed to. This is just a stretch right now, 4 against the Padres, and then before that, you're playing other teams that you're fighting against for the wild card. So which game do you take off in that situation? You might have only had a chance, or you're trying to get him through. He's been struggling, and you just went, look, he needs to break now. Let's give it to him. I'm not opposed to it either. Like I said, I was not upset about Marte being out. Partly because they didn't put a lineup out and then scratch him afterwards. That also helped out. Yeah. Ann says, yesterday's game was more important as the win guarantees at least the split of the series. That's the side of it. So if you gave Marte, because Dale brought up, give Marte off today, isn't the same situation? Yeah, maybe not. Because you're going to guarantee a split of the series here if you give Marte off today as opposed to yesterday. Yesterday was a very important game. I would have put more on yesterday than today since they won that game yesterday. I can tell you this. You can't take a day off against the Dodgers. With the pitchers that are going for the Dodgers, you can't. Not for a guy like that. Wait till the Rockies show up. Wait till the Rockies series starting on Monday before you go that route. Ann says Brott played for the Canada and the WBC 3 years ago against at the age of 19. Yeah, that was what I was talking about. Did I explain it wrong? He only got, I think, 1 out in that series and got lit up on the mound. And I know he was only 19 at that time. But that's kind of my point, though. Did anybody think he'd be pitching this way? Forget about the WBC. Most people probably don't remember that. But did you expect this from him? And then that backstory of him as well at 19. It's fantastic story with the way he's pitching. These are the stories you live for in sports, man. You're hoping Cole Drake can go out there tonight and have another great performance that he has as a young kid out there. These are the stories I live for in sports. I want to see it tonight as well. It's going to be a lot of fun to see tonight as well. And then Robert says, love seeing the two relievers the Phillies got implode. That was last night. That's how they lost, by the way, the bullpen there. So, yeah, the D-backs were supposedly in on both of those guys, and then they were in on a couple other guys that have imploded as well. Of course, one of them that they were in with hit 3 home runs in his debut the other day as well. But this is the interesting thing. The trade deadline, at least early on, results have not been good for a lot of teams. Last night, Padres starter, Mize, not good. The Phillies bullpen guys struggled yesterday. It is interesting. Trade deadline doesn't always make you better. Now it's early. Their first start with their teams, their first thing with their teams. Skubal, he didn't pitch bad in that Dodgers debut, but he didn't get the win in it as well. He wasn't terrible in it, but it wasn't shut down Skubal that everybody was expecting. Everybody expects him to come around, of course, but trade deadline stuff is an interesting time to add. Sometimes the best addition is not adding anybody and rocking that boat as well. So out there, Ethan chimes in, and we'll ask Lou about it. We're a couple weeks away. We're about a month away from it. The September 12th UFC. Oh. Ethan, turn on Lou's microphone. Everybody's got to hear this if they didn't hear it here. Let me know when it's on, Ethan, here really quick. All right, Lou, say that again.
I'm Fred Sanford having a heart attack over here. You mean sometimes it's best to do nothing and stay the course and be wise, as Warren Buffett would say? Who did that? Oh, the Diamondbacks. And what are they, 5-6 games?
Above 500?
I mean, come on. I'm a big believer in the D-backs, I got to tell you.
No, you are. They're 61-54 right now today.
And there were a couple things Steve was saying in the last few minutes, and I was getting ready to pounce, but then he kind of corrected. It's like the wind came up, and he corrected himself a little bit.
Lou's in here. I feel the stare when I say it with Lou. Well, what was the things I said?
It doesn't matter because there's no conflict. I will say I'm just picking at Steve a little bit because, even now you guys are so critical of the Diamondbacks. Holy cow. A milk truck came up and delivered ice cream the other day to a bunch of kids, and I heard you guys saying it's for the players and they're getting soft. I mean, you guys, every single day you guys are on these guys.
That's our job, Lou. That's
and
what
they're
we do.
Struggling, and they've come through it. And it's past the break, and at the break they were 1 or 2 up.
Yeah.
Now they're a few games better than that. I mean, listen, couple grains of salt, one drop of water against a rock for a million years made the Grand Canyon. So give these Diamondbacks a little time. I think they're in perfect schedule and in a perfect position by which to pounce.
Lou, you'll be shocked to hear this as well. I pretty much said Diamondbacks, to me, better make the playoffs right now. With where they're sitting and who their competition is. Ethan, I don't know if you have it. Throw up the NL wildcard standings with Lou here so I can explain it to him as well. They're in the second spot, tied with the Phillies. Phillies are going nowhere. They're going to be in this competition. I believe the Padres are going to be as well. So those are your 3 teams. I do think the Marlins, Cardinals, I've been saying this since the All-Star break. I think the Marlins, Cardinals, Pirates, Reds, they're all just going to fade throughout it. They're going to stay 3, 4, 5 games back out of it and have to, be a fight. If somebody blips, it'll be a small blip and come down. So you have 3 teams fighting for those last 2 spots. And you have 2 really good offensive teams that are struggling. The Phillies and the Padres and the Diamondbacks are built very similar. And so my opinion is now you're going 2 teams battling for that 3rd spot. And you better be one of those teams in my eyes right now, if you're the Arizona Diamondbacks. So I've switched completely on them.
You sure have. I mean, you go from doubting them, now you're going to get PO'd if they don't make it.
Well, partly
That's
because
typical of a fan, though. I love that.
Or a
it's
sports stock
important.
guy.
It's important for fans. They feel that ebb and flow. Yeah. In my world, ebb and flow doesn't really help you.
Which is why you won't find me betting on a Diamondbacks game or anything like that for the most part.
Well,
because of the daily up and down type stuff that I mean, it's what I do for a living. It's sports talk, so we get into those ebbs and flows. We live and die with every move and every play and all of that stuff.
Oh no, exactly. It's this show and the others, and turn on any NFL show right now. Creating overreaction and tsunami waves of what's happening when we haven't played the game yet till tonight.
Yeah.
So we're in the season as of today. It's
tonight we'll get into that when we come back. Second part of the show, second hour of the show. Uncle Lou's in here. We'll get Lou's breakdown of the Hall of Fame game tonight, like we got Dale's play by play. What he's going to expect. Just kidding, folks. Just like with Dale, I'm just kidding around tonight. But football season starts. We'll talk NFL. Of course, last week's UFC fight from overseas. This week coming up, the Apex is back again, but some good fights on this card coming up as well. Robert says, feel like Gambo's on the show right now. Man, okay. I went a little too positive on the Diamondbacks, obviously, if that's the case. I'll tamper that here coming up.
Yeah, Robert's another one. You got to wear an umbrella around him. He's so negative on the Diamondbacks.
Come on back, folks. Second hour main event with Uncle Lou coming up next. We're back here, second hour main event. Don't forget, Uncle Lou's in here on Thursdays, but also live on YouTube, folks. TME Media AZ. Share with your friends, you Uncle Lou fans out there. Get that promoting that up as well. You can watch you live now, Lou, for the last couple months here, but I'm going to start promoting it out there. But before we go anywhere on this, how you doing, Lou?
I'm doing great, Steve. Thanks for having me once again this week. We're in the portion of the sports season where the UFC and really my FaceTime is going to go from Charlton Heston to Pee Wee Herman, because tonight is the Hall of Fame game, and when the NFL starts, that means football starts, and so the rush of population will be all towards the football now.
So less Visa appearances is what you're telling us?
No, I'll have my normal Friday morning with Ross. But because they won't be desperate to need some time. And they what is there? Well, there's baseball and UFC and some golf. So it's been a great run. It's also great to be able to get all my ducks in a row for NFL, because I'm totally organized, totally prepared, have everything done that I want to have done at this time of year. And so I go into tonight's game with the ambition of watching a couple series, and I'll really just be looking to see what the Cardinal reaction is to the new coach.
Okay, yeah, because that's what Dale talked. I jokingly threw it to Dale and was like, break down the game, but he said on that he wants to see reaction of the coach, fluidity out there. There's not a lot of how the plays coming to the offense, to Carson back. Is there some stuff like that?
Shit, right.
Exactly. That's the stuff that Dale wants to pay attention to. I would even argue you're good. There's no tower.
Sorry.
There's no tower. Then things like offensive linemen, are they blocking properly, especially the ones that are starting the game? Is a technique there, or are they slacking a little bit? Stuff like that. And that's the stuff you get early in camp, the preparation side of it, that you pay attention to out there. Let me ask you, because I asked you this last year and I vaguely remember the response. A lot of people bet preseason NFL football, and it starts tonight. People are probably clamoring that the bettors are clamoring on football tonight.
Yes, they are. Yes.
Do you do any preseason gambling out there?
Not really, and it's because I regard the preseason more as a tool for me to prepare. I'm really preparing now because I've already determined what teams I don't think are going to do well. And so what the preseason will do is perhaps dispel some of that per team. Yes, maybe, but it might also encourage it based on injuries. I mean, I got guys at the VSiN network. Oh yeah, we took some Atlanta futures. Are you mad?
Yeah.
And now look at them. They don't know who their quarterback
They don't have a quarterback.
is. They just lost a defensive player. Come on. This happens every year, people.
Yeah,
we
they
have
just
to
lost
be
Walker. Yeah.
We have to be smarter than that. So I'm really looking at we had 22 different coordinators this year in the NFL out of like 70 total jobs, including head coach. So there's all kinds of coaching turnover. There's so much for me to monitor that I don't. Now, the people that do, there's two kinds. There's the people that want the action and they're going to bet the over or the under.
They just love the action,
team
right?
Or the red team. Okay, that's the populace over there. The guys that know what they're doing that make money in the preseason, I just don't want to work that hard, are the ones that have been reading the newspaper in Carolina and Arizona. They know what quarterback's starting, what that meant when the line was out on Tuesday, Wednesday, when Beck was announced or whatever. And so it's really, I will say, preseason is so highly informational. That means if you're in every single day and you're going to spend a couple hours researching each team in the preseason, the coaches are going to tell you exactly what they want to do, which ones want to win, which ones are starting their third-string quarterback. You can ascertain great advantage by paying attention. I just don't. I do that starting week one, but not before.
Yeah, because it is fascinating. I mean, I know people that are just, they just love the action of, like, they just, like, if they have a night where they can't put money down, whatever amount, they can't put money down, they're like freaking out. Like, I don't know what to do with myself. And stuff like that. And so NFL comes, man, and they're just clamoring at the bit for that kickoff
they are.
tonight.
It's like the running of the bulls, and they're about to open the gate.
It's like they don't even care. It's just like, I just need to get something in on this to get my NFL fix and stuff like that. And, God bless you if you're that way and stuff. But I won't touch a preseason game to save my life on anything.
It depends how you're betting. If your favorite team's the Cardinals, you want action, that's one thing. Yeah. If you're trying to win money and you're not studying, then you hate money.
Yeah, it is fascinating, the gambling on that. But there, if you don't mind, there's a couple teams I wanted to ask you about. You're doing your studies. And because I don't know what your opinion was, the Niners, when you went through the Warren Sharp stuff and everything. This. And my question on the Niners is, because I am seriously questioning, last year they were one of, if not the most injured team in the NFL, one of the most injured teams, and they just kept winning. I'm questioning if you could do that 2 years in a row. Does it take your toll over time? And yesterday, for instance, they had 20 players out of practice yesterday due to injuries. Not guys that aren't going to make the team, 20 guys that are going to make this roster sat out practice yesterday, a week into camp. So the injury, Purcell's already out. They didn't get knee surgery last year. He's out for the season. They signed Debo. What does that do as you looking at the season as a whole on the Niners, just with the injuries already based off of last year, and your just thoughts on the continuation of the injury bug with that team?
Last year, the Niners were the second field goal luckiest team there was. So they had the highest percentage of field goals made against those that went against them. They were 28th in total health. And not only is that alarm, meaning they had the most injuries of anyone except for another 4 teams. What's alarming about that is the year before it was the same thing. In fact, they're now to the point where they're worried about the power lines in San Francisco screwing up these athletes because there's something there. 26th in turnover margin last year. Okay, so they got the fewest amount of turnovers. These are all regression items. They were number 3 in penalty luck, meaning they hardly had any penalties count against them. Offensive line rank 7. Front 7 rank 8. The issue with the Niners is a couple of, and they have the 8th easiest strength of schedule in the NFL, yet they're in with Seattle and the Rams. And so Seattle, the Rams, and San Francisco are 3, I think, of the top 6 teams in the NFL, and they're all happening to be in one division. The injury to the head coach and the lack of information and the constipation in the news process surrounding that has me feeling a little incredulous. So I'm really on a wait. And yes, everything affects a team.
Oh, no, I'm
especially
big on that.
Why the press isn't all over it, and yet nobody's talking about it. That's when I really get nervous.
No, I'm big on it. I brought that up to you last week, and you weren't as incredulous last week as I was.
No, because there wasn't evidence of.
I think this is a big deal.
Brushing under the rug of information.
This could affect. I brought it up last week. This could affect them later on in the season.
I don't see that
in a big moment. I know you don't, but
because money says they'll just keep extending it and they'll get what they want that way.
Yeah. But the injury. I mean, like you said, it's been the year before, last year's injuries. At some point, it just goes against you on injuries when you keep getting injuries. And so is this year the year?
No, it doesn't. It actually reverts. It can't keep going against you.
Oh.
And that's what I'm saying. By their health, my feel is all those players that are out, he's paranoid that they're going to get hurt. So he's telling them to go eat ice cream Sundays and stretch on
that's
the
what I said. That's the question.
He's the smartest head coach in the game.
That's why I wanted to ask you, because that's the question I have.
That's my opinion.
Wait closer to the regular season starts and see who's healthy and who's not.
It ain't just about health. There's way more things to look at.
Okay.
4 of their last 6 games of the season are on the road. Chargers,
big games.
Rams, Philly, and Arizona. And Arizona's going to be improved this year. Then December 6th, 13, and 17, at Giants, at Rams, at Chargers. Boom. And between Rams and Chargers, 4 days because they're coming off a Thursday night. Easily the most question. I really am incredulous about San Fran winning the division or getting over 10 or 10.5, but the head coach trumps that and makes me hesitate. The other thing that I don't like is their travel's ridiculous. They open against the Rams in Melbourne, Australia, and so that's a home game for them. No, it isn't. That means that they have 10 road games, including a trip to Melbourne this year. So there's a lot tainted against the Niners. There's a lot tainted against Seattle, in my opinion, and so that's my breakdown of San Francisco. Have I given you any impetus to bet them either way? I don't know, because I don't know. I'm waiting to see. I think they're going to be good, and I think they're going to be very good based on what happens with this coach and how long he's out and if he's on crutches. I just want to see more there.
Yeah, I like I said, I have to be careful on this too, because I keep telling everybody, like, they're still going to be good, but are they going to be division and Super Bowl contender good? Is what I'm looking at for them. Basically, what I'm looking at is you go with the under on them on the season with these injuries happening right now. But I tend to agree with you. Wait till we get closer to the regular season. It's just you don't get how injured are they? You don't get less injured as you get as you go through the season. So, but that's just an alarming thing, and it's starting to hit the airwaves now. I've been paying attention to it, and I'm starting to see some national people talking about the Niners' injuries so far in camp. The other things around the team. I'm seeing more and more people talk about that, and so
that's exactly when you know that they're on the wrong trail.
Okay.
When it's all over the airwaves, believe me, they're chasing their tail.
I thought I had something.
I require that kind of overreaction from the press. They see a guy and the trainer's clipping his toenail. Oh, sheesh, this guy's got a broken toe. Believe me, it's the thing in kindergarten. You told the gal next to you, "Hi, my mom's a redhead," and she told the next kid, and by the time it gets around, it's like, "Hey, my mom works at Dairy Queen." So, I mean, there's nothing out here that we can determine unless a quarterback goes down or monitoring major injuries. I'm talking about guy goes off a cart, they say he's an ACL and he's out for a season. That affects how you have to look at a team. We've had a few of those already. Let's hope there's no more, but there's gonna be.
Yeah.
And we just have to be patient.
Especially with games starting tonight.
So I'm ready to address other teams, but really San Francisco I have to respect because it's the smartest coach in the league, I think. And even though they're schedule's brutal and their travel's brutal. They've overcome it in past years, and that's all Shanahan.
Yeah, and that's what worries me is, multiple years of overcoming it, and then eventually it's just like all of a sudden you win 2 games and you can't overcome it anymore, and you got to kind of revamp it. And they're not.
If I saw that, I wouldn't be stunned.
Next team I wanted to ask you about here, just as I'm just going through prepping on this, just kind of as the preseason's getting ready to kick off here. A lot of people are high on the Giants this year with a new head coach, experienced head coach with the Ravens. Obviously we know the talent that they have there and also the lack of talent that they have there. But new head coach, new offensive coordinator, new coaching staff as a general there as well. I'm seeing a lot of people favor this team and the national stuff, favoring them to possibly win that division over the Eagles and stuff to that effect. I'm a big coach guy, but I'm not high on Harbaugh at this point. Any thoughts on the Giants going into this? Because I'm seeing a lot of people here these last 3 or 4 days saying they could compete against the Eagles to win this division. And I'm not a big Harbaugh guy, so I think what he's done with the Ravens last 2 years.
I am a big Harbaugh guy, but it's him and Nagy and Denard Wilson coming in, and they're an absolute new regime, new culture. So you have to understand that to start with, just to lay the foundation. Last year, they had the most difficult schedule in the NFL. This year, it's the 8th most. But it'll seem easier because last year they had such a hard schedule. They have number 3, a +3 net rest advantage on their schedule. That's the top half of the NFL, so that doesn't hurt them. The offensive line rank being 20 is concerning to me, although they addressed some of that in the draft and in the offseason. Their schedule looks very manageable as far as days and where their division games happen to land. Overall, the talent in New York is, on offense especially, is strong. And their front 7 ranked 17. So I think it's a competitive NFC team immediately in a division where I think that Dallas, I see Dallas, Washington, and Philly all vying for the top.
Yeah, and that's actually the hardest division as I'm going through all my stuff and get ready to make my picks. The NFC East is the hardest division for me to figure out here because Commanders, and part of it is Cowboys, second year for this coaching staff, everything, second year for this team as well. But then Giants, all new coaching staff, new regime. Commanders, new offensive and defensive coordinators coming into that team. How's their quarterback going to be? And to me, that's the hardest division, at least going into this season in football, to kind of pick and predict out there, because you're seeing it. You're seeing it if you're watching national news. You're seeing a lot of people say Commanders can compete, Cowboys can compete for a win and stuff for the division and stuff to that effect. So that division's just stymieing the heck out of me.
Yeah, right now they all can compete. I think Dallas. You have to understand what kind of offense they set up to have. And it's good that they're going to have that, because they're coming off with the Cardinals, one of the most epically poor performances on defense over the course of a whole season that any team in the NFL's ever undertaken. So Dallas has so much work to do on defense that in 1 year, with what they've done, I don't think they can get that done. Couple defensive linemen myself. And I think they're going to have to score 40 to win games, and I think that's what they plan on doing. And the rest of that, I see Philly as being able to score points, but having D. Washington's got some questions. They've got, that guy's he's a defensive coach, and his defense has stunk the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So there's Dan Quinn. And I think the Giants have room to grow.
Yeah, it's an interesting division. Last team I want to ask you about today, of course, we're going to be going over this during the preseason time, is strictly the Lions here as well. Here's my question on the Lions. Of course, they lost their offensive and defensive coordinators, 2 really good guys, best in the league last year, and they got 2 new guys they promoted from within. Didn't work out for them offensively or defensively. Finished 4th in that division. Went out and got a new offensive coordinator, the cat from Arizona here, and then a new defensive coordinator this year as well. I'm not necessarily. I think Dan Campbell is great for morale and is great as a head coach, but he can only go as far as his coordinators can get him. If it's a struggle early with a new offensive and defensive coordinator, is it doomed for the Lions, or what's your outlook on their season with again, second year in a row now of new offensive coordinator, new offensive system in there, and defense.
Yeah, defensive coordinator Kevin Shepard. This is his second year.
Oh, okay. So I'm sorry, he was there. You're right. You are correct. But the offensive coordinator changed. Yeah, sorry.
How about this? Here's a team last year had the 11th most difficult schedule of the NFL. This year, easiest strength of schedule in the NFL. Last year, second most injured team, 32nd in fumble luck, 30th in field goal luck, 30th in net penalty EPA, 91 over 41. 3 to 5. They were 3-5 in one score games. All of those are unusually against a team that can't happen again, that are going to regress or are liable to regress. And I want to track that because I believe in that, or I wouldn't be tracking it. Got a great offensive line, ranked 13th, and they've got, what do we got here? Ragnow retires, but they bring in Zeitler as a center in free agent to replace him. I don't know if that's center or guard, but they replace him. Front seven ranked 9th. You got to watch the offensive line. They got 3 dome games only. They're a dome team, and they only play 3 games outdoors all year. Detroit, very favorable. +1 net rest. Play 6 teams projected to have a winning record. And 3 teams projected to have 10+ wins. So their schedule's very manageable. They've got a new regime, and I think a lot of regression coming back. That division, NFC North, is also a division that I could see every team be 9-8 or 10-6. Every single, maybe not the Pack. I think the Pack falls, and the other 3 are here.
Okay, really? Yeah, we'll talk about. I have Packers and Vikings questions as well. We'll get into those here over the next couple of weeks here. But yeah, just a team that has a second offensive coordinator. In 2 years, you're running into offensive systems changes and things to that effect. They have a ton of talent there. Don't get me wrong, but but that is kind of a benefit with how much they struggled last year. 4th place schedule. By the way, a lot of their hard games are just their division. Other than that, when they get outside of their division, they get into kind of like an easier, softer schedule because of that. Like they play the Cardinals this year, for instance, for them as well. Last general football question. It pertains to the Buccaneers, but it's a general one. Teams that have multiple questions on contracts going into the season. Obviously, their defensive lineman is holding out, wants to be traded. They say there's no plan to deal him. Baker Mayfield said once training camp starts, there's no more negotiation. If you have multiple players concerned about their contracts, that change your opinion on a team going into the season?
Never. No, I don't give 2 hoots who's in or who ain't in. It's business, and neither do the coaches. The only ones that do are the fans. So what you do is you just wait, because they're either going to get signed or they're not. And if Baker doesn't play, we'll know that before the first game of the season. If he gets his extension, which is probably going to happen, then we'll know that. And everybody's going to be huggy and kissy, and we're going to wonder what the hell we were chasing our tail for 3 weeks over here. So just let it be. Let it, as the Beatles saying, let it be. Just let it come. Don't overreact to what you're seeing. The press has to, so they got to vomit bile at us the whole time, and that's what leads to overreaction, which is what I'm looking for, because when I can find enough of it, I'll simply go the other way, which is my whole week 1 foundation every year, and we'll talk about it as we get close to week 1.
And Lou, that's why I love having you on here. Whether you at home are a gambler, whether you're not a gambler, we've got our fan perspectives, we got our media perspective and stuff like that. And then Lou, you just blow it out of the water with some out there other perspective, and you're right a lot as well. So it'll allow you to talk to your friends, family, water cooler talk at work, with your bosses and your friends there, and have friendly competitions and stuff like that. The knowledge is what's going to get you there as well.
My favorite saying is when you go out, I'll arm you with stuff that you go to the water cooler with and tell your buddies. And when they leave the room laughing, you got yourself a winner.
That is your saying there for football season.
You've got yourself a winner, baby. Because everybody.
Hey, Lou, we failed to do your intro here. I know it's an Apex, but just while we're going to break here, just tell everybody where they can find you, and your website, and more importantly, your podcast.
Gamblu.com. Anything about me can be found there. Steve's good enough to have me every week. I do a blog once a week that I keep wanting to do more of, but I'm busy. The top band tells you anything you want to know about me that you could ask. And then if you scroll down, as Ethan was doing, the podcasts, I do 2 a week. One is a sneak teep. It's an opening line report at any of the fights each week that have line movement. I report on a 7 or 8 minute podcast. And then on Fridays, my final releases come out on an 8 or 9 minute podcast. And those are the final releases for the week. Last week, we had a really sensational week with one fighter. We bet him 3 ways. It went well. And we're hoping to keep the momentum going because we have another 5 or 6 events in a row right here through the fall.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, just plug San Xavier Mission real quick here again for me, because that's the only reason I have you on, Lou.
That's right. And really, San Xavier Mission gets a prominent position in our webpage because it's indigenous to Arizona. It's the oldest mission in the country, built in the late 1600s. They're doing great work down there. I'm a contributor to the mission and always encourage others to consider it if they can. There's a link right there that Ethan's showing us. You can hit that and go right there. You don't have to run nothing through me. And the consideration is great, and Steve lets me mention it every week, so thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's super important, especially in the industry that you work in, to give back and support, especially the way the world's going right now, economies, etc. If it's not that place, find another one out there to support.
Well, if I was in the widget industry, I'd be doing the same thing. It's just that I'm not good at widgets.
Fun stuff out there, folks. Of course, this week's at the Apex. We'll talk about last week, a couple fights when we come back here, Lou, and then we'll get into this weekend as well, back in Las Vegas. So the morning fights are over here for a couple weeks. We have to get back to late night Saturday night fights coming up. So come back and join us here, folks, with Uncle Lou here on the main event. And we're back here, main event with Uncle Lou. We just got done having some fun NFL talk with the Hall of Fame game tonight and giving some insight on some teams and kind of how to look at them here through the preseason, like the Niners, for instance. So if you're just joining us now, go back and watch that segment as well, kind of give you on that. Just really quick, Robert does say, not down on them, meaning the Diamondbacks. He goes, just critical. I'm more concerned on how they play. Results are results. Because you said we're critical.
Right.
Lou's telling us we're bad critical.
Well, all I'd say to that is to put up a picture of a scoreboard, because what's their record, by the way?
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it speaks for me.
You're right when it comes. That's the funny thing to do is after they have a bad game, you come in here and then you got to remind yourself, man, they're still in second place in the wild card. They're still good. Instead of ripping them apart, it is kind of a fun dynamic.
And I think they begin to differentiate themselves as the closer they go for a couple reasons, but mainly the manager. And the second mainly is the players that were on that team a few years ago when they made the run. They didn't forget how to do it.
Absolutely. So, and I know you're high on the diamond. That's why I love having you in here, because we think differently about them. But I'm telling you, Better make the playoffs now with where you're
If I had
standing.
the under on them, I would be scared to death right now. I'm happier to be where I am holding them, and we'll see. There's how much? What do we got left
40,
as far as games?
I can't remember now. 42 or 43, something in that range.
Right.
Games
So
left,
when you start to do a straight line, meaning you take their win percentage time 162, and you get the amount of games, you've got a good idea as to where most teams are probably going to end up, unless you pull a hammy and go 0 for 10 or run off 11 in one spot.
I mean, I picked them to go over their season total number at the beginning of the. I don't remember what it was. It was a few games above 500.
Yeah, I'm going to say 84. Or
I
5
can't remember what it
like
was.
That. It was a tough number.
And the reason why I went under was I was like, they'll go at least 500, and it was a couple of games above it. So I'm like, they'll be right at that number. Was what I was thinking. So even though we have to pick them apart, Lou, I still support them.
Well, at the end of the day, their performance is not going to be dependent on what the heck we say about it.
Well, that's 100% correct. Hey, last week the UFC was at Belgrade there in Serbia. It was a morning UFC fight, which I just can't get enough of here as well.
Agree.
Couple questions for you on this fight as well. In the main card, your buddy Sipo here against Urbina. Sipo was a big favorite going into this fight. I don't know what it closed at, but I know at one point he was minus 300 or something of that range going into that fight. Man, he lost that fight. First round, 1 minute, 1 second into it, a KO by Urbina here in this fight. It's your thoughts there on Urbina and or Sipo here in this fight.
Yeah, well, we picked one that I had Sipo in a parlay on from the webpage. So clearly I judged him wrong. It was more a fade of Gil Urbina than it was Sipo, but Urbina, who went from 70 to 85, looked good. I thought it would be a disaster move. It wasn't a disaster move. He looks good. He KOs him in round 1. I lose my parlay. I learn a little bit, and we move on to the next fights.
Absolutely. From that interesting card here in Belgrade, wasn't it the most fights, finishes in a fight card? Was it 9 total? I think is what it ended up being. I mean, this was I'll say it's a fast card is what I would call it in these fights. I enjoyed it a lot. And then you get up here, to the main event. Well, Tybura first, I wanted to just ask about. Ended up being a 3rd round decision here for Rakic here in this heavyweight bout. In this fight here, I don't tell me if I'm right or wrong here, but I thought you were favoring Tybura, or you thought Tybura had a chance in this fight, or am I misremembering on this?
Well, first of all, he's 6 years older at 40. I wouldn't have bet him.
Okay.
And I didn't know. I don't, that wasn't a fight we were really targeting. Yeah. I released 2 fights the day of the fight card. However, I used Twitter. One was on the undercard, Oban Elliott against Michael Oliveira for a half a unit, and Michael Oliveira put out a nice precision straight jab and dropped my kid. That was the end of that fight.
Quickly.
So we lose a half a unit there really quick, and then the other one was this kid Valentin that was taking on the Serbian Todorovic. He's actually from Montenegro. And we had to pay $150 or so for him, but we used a whole unit on him, and he won quite easily.
Submission. Yeah.
That one I liked all week long. I was just kind of keeping quiet because the money was coming in on Todorovic the whole time, which seemed odd to me, but it is what it is, and we squeaked that one out. So those were fun. Yeah,
and I was asking about the Tybura one because for some reason I wrote down Tybura on my notes from last week when you talked. But I, of course, didn't go back and listen. But my big thing on that was, unanimous decision here in that heavyweight. And the Rakic ended up being like a 400. And I might be confusing that with
he was a big favorite that.
And I might be confusing that with the Oliveira where you put that out on Twitter. I had Oliveira in that fight. I had his number to finish. It was a better number than the minus 380. Yeah. Then I saw your one, and I was like, I'll throw 5 on Elliott off of Lou, because if that hits, then obviously I'm making up anything I would have lost on the other side. I started playing that. That's where I first played it that way in my thought process that you, of course, have taught me here, Lou, as well.
Well, the next time you do that, you take the favorite to win, but you take the underdog plus the 3.5.
Yeah.
You hope the favorite wins a close decision, because then your favorite wins and your 3.5 wins.
So that might be what I'm confusing Tybura with. But Navajo Sterling, short fight short call up for him in this fight. And man, did he walk in there and just, in my opinion, dominated that thing.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
More impressive because it was short timing, or more impressive that he had to travel across the world to Serbia? What was most impressive about Sterling's
That he knocked
performance?
Blachowicz out in one round.
Yeah, 256 into that round as well. Then you got the main event.
No, wait, you're missing a fight.
Oh, I am. Well, which one am I missing? This UFC fight. This US
wait.
guy.
He can't wait to start with the most embarrassing fight I've released in 5 weeks.
Yeah.
But yet the best fight that I've released
the one you nailed
in 5
No,
weeks is Musayev against Ludovic Klein, and the
Yeah.
world
My fault.
was on Ludovic Klein. Klein went from minus 130 to minus 265. So we took our boy Musayev not only plus 2.25, we took him plus 465 inside the distance, and we took him plus the 3.5 minus 110. So that was a windfall on Mr. Musayev. And I'll tell you something, you can't be stubborn when you're doing this. And the week before, I had taken Mike Davis and just laid a ostrich egg. It was such a terrible fight. And that's what this was completely set up to be. The world, every handicapper I know was on this other kid, Klein, who I just didn't see as viable, especially given Musayev's size. Well, even a blind squirrel finds an acorn once in a while. I get one right, and it gives you confidence that you should keep on the path of what you're doing. When I tell young handicappers, do your own work, no matter how bright the day is or dark the night is, just keep doing your own work and trust your own process, and you're going to end up in the long run good.
And it is funny, as I was going back through my notes last night and organizing this for your section, I completely left that fight off. And I even went with your bet on that.
He had Sipo right at the front, though, with the living colors. Sipo, let's talk about him.
I had that since the fight happened. I was like, I'll talk to him about that. Yeah. So that's why I'm laughing so hard while you're talking.
Hey, thank God I use him in a parlay. Cost me a unit. Because what is he, minus 4 units or something? What do you? I'm not that stupid.
But that wasn't. I love when you nail those ones against everybody. It is impressive to sit there and watch and see it happen out there.
More. I mean, if I could use about 2 of those every card and just be so dominant that everybody would bow to me. But I've never been that good. I want to be, but I just never been able to do it.
Yeah, you've had a couple that I've gotten this year with you where you were plus, plus 400, something like that. And
when you bet dogs like I do, you go 42%, 43.4%. You're going to have a great year.
Yeah. The last fight here as well that
there we go. Now I'll let you get to the.
Well, now I got to give you credit for this one as well, because you said stay away from Rodriguez on this one. You talked about and that was the whole lead up to this fight was his 8 months in the Mexican prison and how he was training in there. And I'm watching that going, there's no way, even with what he did in the Mexican prison, I was like, there's no way he's prepared and in that type of fight shape watching that. Round 1, 30 seconds. My question more on this is Medic here going in there, just doing his business, not messing around on it. Obviously from Serbia, home country, wanted the fight there. He is a guy that is to watch in the UFC. They think highly of him. Obviously, it doesn't change anybody's opinion of him, but do you expect him to maybe get a bigger fight coming up here because of this performance, or is it he's just going to continue along the same path?
No, he's barking for better fights, he won a main event, and so they're going to step him up next time. And depending on the circumstances, he's an absolute fade.
Perfect. That's what I was asking about. Okay, you learned nothing from that fight, going in there and just destroying Rodriguez in that 30 seconds.
Everything solved its purpose. The UFC got what it wanted, a spectacular finish in short time in Serbia where they're trying to grow. They got momentum for the younger guy against a 39-year-old guy they don't really like. And when we get to this week's main event, it's somewhat similar. A young guy against an old guy they'd love to see have to retire eventually. Okay. And so Medic goes away with all this recency. Everyone thinks he's a world beater. Let's see who they give him next, where it is, and we'll talk then. Yeah,
perfect. That was the answer to the question. That's why I asked those hard-hitting questions there, to kind of get that side. This week, we're back at the Apex in Las Vegas. 5 p.m. main card here this weekend on Saturday. You're going to start seeing these earlier start times a little bit on these Apex fights. I'm assuming it's because of college football.
No, they're it's 2 p.m., right?
Well, before it used to be 6 p.m. for the main card, and the last couple of weeks they've moved the Apex fights. Last couple of them, they moved them down to 5 p.m.
I think that's just because there's been fewer prelim cards.
Well, that's what I mean. Lesser
the prelims
fights
have started at 2.
I attributed that to football starting, and you want to get out of the main. You want to get out of the main prime time type fights. But you're right, lesser fights on these Apex cards
when
lately.
they have a numbered event that's coming up,
that's a numbered events will go as normal. Yeah, 3:30 is coming up as well. But this fight here in the Apex, normally, Lou, I look at an Apex card and I go, whatever. Couple fights on there that I noticed the fighters, and of course before going in to watch it, kind of how I am here on these prelim fights. There's a lot of shadowed pictures in this fight for the prelims. Tell us which prelim, meaning they're additions, new fighters, something to that effect is usually what that means. Tell us in the prelims which fights we should tune into.
Yeah, because this was 9 fights up until like Friday a week ago or Saturday, and they found 2. Mm-hmm. And the 2 they found are Rosas against Johns, which will be waged at 145. Both guys 135ers, but in order to make weight and get on the card, they agreed to 145. Rosas is the younger brother of Raul Rosas, who fights already in the UFC, a popular Mexican fighter, and he's the older brother, I should say. And he's going to come in from Mexico, but he's raw. But he's a sub guy, and he's going to take on Miles Johns. Miles Johns has some UFC experience, but he's lost his last 3. That fight was one of the ones they just threw together. Lines are out, and Johns is a modest favorite, but it's a watch.
Minus 162, just for people to know. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the next one is Souza against Miranda. Now, this one will be one of the early fights, but this is a fight you want to watch because these 2 guys are going to get it on. Miranda's tough and durable. Comes in from LFA. Souza 1-0 in the UFC, beat a guy named Oki who's capable. This should be really a war with 2 power strikers. And Souza's a huge favorite, but Miranda never been finished. So I don't know if I'm going to maybe look at some points with Miranda because I believe it goes to decision, or bet it to go to decision. I'll have to shop around. Then let's go.
Well, really quick, minus 305 for Souza in this. Going to your next point, because I noticed this over under on this fight's right now at 1.5.
Yeah.
Minus 238 to the over here as well. Right. So that was something I wanted to bring up to you, and you kind of addressed it right there.
Yeah. Well,
to look at.
You don't take that. You take it over 2.5, or you take it to go to decision, and you get rid of that terrible number.
Yeah, that's a bad number. Go ahead with the next one, Lou, on the prelims.
The rest of them are really dog meat. You got a 42-year-old Darren the Damage Elkin, and the damage has already been done to him, but he's tough and willing and going to give it his all. This will be his last fight. Fighting against a guy in Cuban Devalle that's primarily a submission guy, and he lost to Jordan Levitt in his last fight. Elkins is, plus 500?
Yeah, it's a big favorite.
We might be playing some kind of game with Elkins. Even though he's 42, he's taller. He's got way more experience, and we've won money on Devalle before.
I'm sorry, 575 right now.
Yeah,
is what
might be time to take a look at the damage, and then the real main fight on the undercard is the heavyweight fight between Guilherme Pat, the Brazilian that comes in via travel, has to fight this Asplund dude. Okay. Asplund is a guy that was walking around at 3:30 and didn't have much of a life, and he got motivated, got to the gym, weighs 264 now, but his skin hangs off of him. He looks very he looks like somebody that you would want to make fun of, but I would warn you that that's the last thing you want to do with this here dude. He's a bad hombre, and he went out in his last fight against Victor Petrino.
Yeah, I remember that
and
fight.
We took him, and he got pulverized. So coming off a loss, I think he's going to be sharper and better. And Guillermo Pat is just a big, huge marble statue, and I think they're going to stand there and get it on. This should be a great fight.
Minus 290 right now for Asplund in this fight. Over under 1.5. Minus 215 to the over in this fight.
Yeah. Yeah, you might want to.
You have to worry about cardio in this one if it goes late into that second round into the
because
third.
there's two big polar bears going to be leaning on each other.
Because if I remember right, Asplund, it might not have been his last fight. It might have been the one before. But I do remember him leaning at one point to where it was just, tired swings there.
No, he's mostly knocked dudes out.
Okay.
He's an aggressive dude with a lot of power, and he's going to be looking to knock this dude out, too.
Okay,
so
perfect. So those are the numbers on that.
You might take Asplund inside the distance. We'll have to see. I could go over, too, but I see Asplund one way or another.
And those are your prelim fights. Let's get into that main event here. Starts off welterweight bout. Billy Ray Goff, Ty Miller here battling it out. Ty Miller's a minus 400 favorite, Lou.
Yeah, and he's long and tall, and he's going to have 5-inch reach, 4 inches of height. He's just going to be picking down at the incoming Goff. Goff's been inactive, although he's durable and tough, which makes for a decision fight for Miller.
Yeah, that's what's interesting that you say that, because over-under on this one's 1.5 as well. Minus 210 to the over type of a situation. I'm surprised at 1.5 we're seeing on some decision type fights that at least that you're commenting on coming into that. Now, next up we have a women's strawweight fight here. Lemos and Thonaraya. Is this sandwich time, Lou, or are we paying attention to this?
No, we're paying attention because Lemos is someone I released on the digital magazine at better like 215 or so. She's a big underdog, but she's 39
plus 215 right now,
and 11 years older than the Brazilian. The Brazilian is very young, level of competition very low. Hasn't fought anywhere near the kind of quality Lemos has. Lemos has fought the elite for years in this division, and if she loses Lemos, she's pretty much done. So this is going to be a desperate fight. We're going to get her best effort against a gal that I think is just too much too soon in Thainara. And we're going to use Lemos here at plus 215 and trust that she can maintain distance, keep Thainara on the outside and knock her out.
I was gonna say, are you looking? That's what I was just going to ask. Are you looking for a finish in this fight or a decision?
Because I'm taking the underdog, sure, I'd take it with the first punch, but it's probably going to decision.
Okay.
And at 2.5 minus 200 to the over, I like the over. I like Lemos decision, and we may play a game with Lemos decision, and Lemos points. We'll see.
Perfect for that fight here. And my site's all messed up here. Did we already talk about the Elkins fight?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to say, you said plus 570. I'm sorry, minus 850 for Del Valle.
Yeah, and you said plus 575 for Elkins, and that's too much. That isn't representative of their skills.
Sorry, my screen that I use is all messed up.
Your screen sounds like your mind is all
It has that
polluted.
Fight out of order, Lou, is what that has.
I wonder, you got a margarita over there or something? What's going on?
I don't know why it has a fight like clear up at the top, past the main event one. I'm like, that's not the main event one. Why is that so high up there? Lightweight bout, Diego. Nobody at home cares about my problems. Diego Ferreira and Billy Quarantillo here in the lightweight bout. Right now, Ferreira is a minus 170 favorite going into this fight.
Yeah, this is the co-main event. Now, here's one that's lined 1.5 with an under minus 140 or 145. So you got
2.5 right now, minus 185 to the under.
Oh, beautiful, which means there's 1.5s and 2.5s out there. And so what I would do, I would look at that 2.5 and go under. I see a 2.5 under 200. I see a 2.5 under minus 170. I see 1.5 over minus 145. Really? Okay. That 1.5 I think is the better number because these two dudes going to go out there and wail. This is Billy Q's first fight in about 1.5 years. He took some time off, but he's also going up from 45 to 55. And he's big, long, tall. He'll be the taller, longer man. And at 39, he'll also be the younger man in the fight because he's fighting. He's 37 and Ferreira's 41. But Ferreira is still a vicious fighter. And for the first round and a half, this is going to be a wicked fight. One of them's going to connect with the other. I don't know who's going to knock who out, but I like the dog price. I like the dog. I like him at 155. I might take a little stab at him.
At plus 142 right now, and I use DraftKings on the show for you guys to know at home. So this is Thursday morning. on DraftKings are the numbers that I'm reading off for everybody out there, just so you know. Out there as well. Then you got the main card, Gamrot and Salkeeld this weekend. Salkeeld is a minus 145 favorite going into this fight. Minus 142 technically right now on DraftKings. Over under 3.5. The overs minus 125. 135 to the over right now as well into this bout. Lightweight fight here for the main card.
Yeah, so again, here's a fight with 3.5s and 4.5s. And I might do something with that this week. Salkeeld Gamrot. Gamrot is he's going to be the shorter fighter by 2 inches. He's 11 years the older man, and he's a lefty, but he's going to be giving away 5 inches of reach and 3 inches of leg reach to this Salkeeld. Gamrot's a Polish vice grip wrestler, and he's very good. He's unrelenting, but he can be chinny. And to wrestlers, striking and strike defense is their least intuitive response in mixed martial arts, or trait in mixed martial arts. And so that's true with Gamrot, though he can strike. Salkeeld, again, very, very much younger, but he makes a huge step up in class of opponent. And is he ready for it? Well, he's 11 years younger, he's longer, taller, he's got power in his hands, and he believes he's ready for this fight. I do know that this is the typical kind of fight that the UFC would love to see Salkeeld win. He's an Aussie. They can promote him in that area. It would be perfect for them. He's 26, the old wrestler that's going to take you down and present a boring fight, though that works great for guys named Aliyev in Abu Dhabi. That doesn't work anywhere else, and they don't want it here. So any kind of close something, we got to be aware that, Salkeeld makes some sense. And when you're going to get a kid 11 years younger, which represents 70 or 72% win percentage when you're that much younger than the opponent, you got to take him. And I look at the price I'm paying, -1. I see minus 142 out there. I see a minus 144 out there, 145 at Circa. I think you got to take a look at Salkeeld here. I don't know that I'll take him in that minus capability. Do I parlay him? Do I look at points? I don't know what, or method of victory. I don't know yet, but I'll know Friday on the Bout Business podcast.
Absolutely. That's why you tune in. That comes out after the weigh-ins, 11 o'clock-ish.
Yes, and so that's, the weigh-ins will be 9 to 11 PST. Yeah. So by noon Pacific, the podcast.
So check that. I always try to retweet it out on the main event page. So if you're following us there as well, when I do see it from that side as well. So big fight on the Apex here this weekend. I just wanted to update everybody here really quick and everything, because, we have a few fights coming up, right? They go to Philadelphia after that, Sacramento. But here in the Phoenix area where we record this show at here and everything, we do have a fight coming here to Desert Diamond Arena. They've released a few more fights for this. September 12th. Ethan's question is that a fight you're interested in going to at all, or would you rather watch it at home because it is local? Yeah,
I have been to numerous UFC events as a spectator. I've been to numerous UFC events as a press-credentialed press member. And honestly, I don't want the heat, the parking, the crowds, and the brain damage. Plus, I'm on a computer and often betting live or in between rounds during these fights, especially during football season. It's more prudent for me to be in my office than go to the fights. However, if anyone ever decides to go to the fights, it's critical that you know where to sit. It sounds funny, but if you get behind a stanchion, you're done. Yeah. And if you get ground level, you're paying too much for no perspective. You end up watching the TV. So if you ever go, you send me an email and I'll tell you where to sit.
Yeah, it's coming up. Desert Diamond. Last week they just had the card at that time.
Is that Oliveira and Sarukian?
It's Rodriguez and Silva. is who they added onto that fight.
Oh, that's
but it's got a cost on Blades. That's what I told everybody last week. They only had a couple fights in that.
It has who? It's Cortez Acosta fights here.
And then Blades as well in this fight.
That's a good fight.
That was last week, but they added Rodriguez and Silva this week
as
on top
event.
of it. And
Silva's that Brazilian Barker, and Rodriguez,
yeah.
long, tall Mexican that's going to be well represented here. That's going to be a great fight.
Yeah, Dan Ige is in this fight. Ige against David Martinez. I'm always going to screw that name up.
Martinez, a Mexican fider. He'll have the crowd.
Tim Elliott, he's a local fighter?
No,
he's not.
He fights out of Kansas City. He's a little bit of a coal miner,
For some reason I thought, but he's got Edgar Chairez.
It's again another Mexican against somebody shipping in. That's going to be a great.
So they're giving us more and more names onto this fight and everything. So when I saw Rodriguez Silva, I was like, wait, what? That might be something I might need to go and
Elliott Chairez. That's going to be a great clash. Elliott's going to want to clasp him and roll him on the ground, and Chairez going to want to. He's a Mexican fighter, long, lanky, and he's got some power in his hands. That'll be a great fight.
Yeah, so we're a month away or so on that, but that is actually a good question. Is that going to go to that? But they're adding people to that. We'll keep you tuned on that. And also Saturday, September 12th, 2 p.m. our time here as well. So for the main card to start here as well out there in Glendale at Desert Diamond Arena.
For the main card
the main card starts at 2 p.m.
So the
Noche
prelims
UFC
are like 11?
I'll get you that time here. Oh, they don't even have it listed yet. That's how they're literally just throwing bouts out there.
That means they're avoiding Penn
football.
State and Ohio State at 6 o'clock or something.
The football
like that.
there, and I wonder also with the the Noche, so Mexican time frames that there weren't thinking about that kind of also. But
that's even earlier than us because Mexico's.
Oh, you know what? Well.
No, you know what? Geography, sometimes they're in the central time zone, so that may work.
Yeah, so that's coming up. I wanted to update everybody on that because when I saw that card go in there, or that fight go in there, I was like, ooh.
That's going to be a whale of a fight card. So, I don't look that far ahead because I'm just trying to.
What for you is just more of they're adding those fights and it's a local. I don't even know where
they are next week. Next week, I think, is 3:30 in L.A., I think.
No, it's isn't that the Pennsylvania one here? I'll tell you right here. Philadelphia, 6 p.m. in Philadelphia next Saturday. 6 p.m. is the main card.
What's the event called?
I'm sorry. That is UFC 3:30. Yeah, next week.
And it's from Philly.
Philly, yeah.
And what's the main event?
That's Makachev and
Gary.
Gary, yeah, Gary. For that one as well. Then we get your boy, the RoboCop, the fight after that in Sacramento. Rodriguez there. Against Hernandez.
That's a fascinating, a big, huge, strong, physical power striker, grappler against a nimble, thin, coming off a loss, dangerous grappler striker himself. RoboCop will have the power advantage, and Hernandez will have the cardio and quickness advantage. Should be an unbelievable fight.
Folks, he just named that 2 fights away from now. He named the 2 fighters and gave you the description of them off the top of his head. And that's why we call him Uncle Lou, folks, as well. Lou, appreciate you joining us here today, as always. Next Thursday,
thanks for having me.
More NFL talk, of course, UFC as well. So come and join us live on YouTube, TME Media AZ. And, of course, catch us on demand or on your podcast stations as well, folks. We'll see you tomorrow. 8 a.m. is where you find us here at the main event. Let's have some fun here on a Thursday night Hall of Fame game. Enjoy preseason football as much as you can, folks. See you later.